afternoon, everyone. It is so great to be here at the One Young World Summit in the amazing city of Belfast. Yes, my first time here, and I am so honored to be around so many brilliant young leaders. Okay, I need to breathe. It's my first time, so bear with me. Thank you. What I want to talk to you about today is a topic that is a number one priority for me, mental health. Our generation is in the grip of a mental health epidemic. Now, I could reel off statistic after statistic to explain the sheer scale of the mental health crisis we are facing, but honestly, I don't really feel comfortable doing that because everyone suffering with their mental health is more than just a statistic. They are more than just a number. They are a human being. And for those who live with a mental illness or struggle with mental health, it can be debilitating, it can be self-consuming, it can leave you unable to function, it can leave you with overwhelming dark thoughts, it can leave you feeling like there is no way out. And I know all of this because I speak from experience. I have lived and I continue to live with struggles of my own. And I am proud that I'm on a continuous journey to recovery. And you know what? This is something that I'm finally not afraid to admit. And it's something that no one in this room should be afraid to admit either. And it's something that no young person anywhere in the world should be afraid to admit. The shame that comes with struggling is what keeps us all silent. And something that I struggled with as a child and that I still struggle with today is that it's sometimes hard for me to ask for help or to admit when I'm hurting. And often in my life, I've had these overwhelming dark thoughts that would leave me feeling isolated, lonely, and deeply misunderstood. And I know I'm not alone in that. And I think that sometimes we can discredit how we're feeling and we can convince ourselves that our feelings don't matter. Okay, so if you hear one thing from me today, it's that is simply not true. Your feelings matter and you matter. And what my mental health journey has taught me is to honor how I'm feeling on any given day and in any given moment. And it's taught me to recognize when to reach out and when to ask for help. It's also helped me realize my own internal strength, intuition, and resilience. And asking for help is not weak. Real strength lies in vulnerability. Strength is knowing when to lean on others. It is brave and it is so empowering. But despite this, around the world, when young people reach out, the hand of help is often not on the receiving end. It's not there because for some governments, mental health simply is not a priority. It's not there because many healthcare systems aren't equipped to deal with the amount and complexity of mental health cases. And unfortunately, it's not there because the stigma around mental health in some countries remains so bad that those who need help don't ask for it for fear of ostracization, persecution, or sometimes even worse. Now, this can't go on. And you, all of you, One Young World, as the next generation of global leaders, can help change this. According to the World Health Organization, mental health problems are the leading cause of disability worldwide. The leading cause. And it's not surprising why. Every day we see and hear and read stories of a world that's in pain. The food crisis, the pandemic, natural disasters, war, the climate emergency. And on top of that, there's the pressure that we put on ourselves, the pressure from our inner critic, the pressure to be perfect, the pressure to be, living our best life, the pressure that comes with living through the lens of social media. Okay, let me tell you a little bit about my life. Just a little bit, just the Cliff Notes version, at least. I'm originally from Memphis, Tennessee. I moved to Los Angeles at the age of 15 with my mom, hello mom, to give acting a try, and thankfully it worked out because I'm not gonna lie to you, I truly didn't have a backup plan. Now, I'm not here to talk about my resume, but I do feel that it's important to talk about what was going on behind the scenes as I was growing up and gained success. On paper, I had everything I thought I had ever wanted, and yet I was so empty and spiritually broken. I felt constant pressure. I felt constant pressure to look a certain way. I felt pressure to be what people expected of me. I felt the pressure to disguise who I inherently was as a way of self-preservation. I felt misunderstood and completely alone. And I was in a constant cycle of chaos, numbing out, or running away from the things that were causing me pain. And while my career, that I'm so grateful for, allowed me to experience all these incredible life-changing events, I never truly felt whole. Something inside of me was missing. And that's when I started looking for things to fill that void. Or I at least developed coping mechanisms to give me a false sense of control and to stop me from feeling a crushing sense of loneliness. Ooh, I told myself I wouldn't cry. Thank you. It was only a matter of time before these coping mechanisms turned into cycles of self-sabotaging behaviors. For me, this manifested itself in the form of an eating disorder, alcoholism, anxiety, depression, but mainly, and I consider this the biggest one of all, I had developed a complete disconnect from my truest self. And let me say this, for anyone who has been in this position, you know you don't get cured overnight. It takes time, it takes work, it takes self-discipline, and so much self-compassion. Now, I do believe anyone who is struggling has to hit their own version of a rock bottom, because I definitely hit mine. I was 32 at the time, and I had landed in a place in my life that was so dark and isolating and completely out of alignment from the path that I so wanted to be on. I was terrified, and I knew that I had one more chance to make some changes and commit my life to them. It was time for me to start getting curious about what I'd been running away from and why I was so scared to go inward. Now, there is a happy ending to that, because I'm obviously standing here. I'm almost 2 years sober, and I'm in recovery from an eating disorder. Thank you. Thank you. Aww. It's really sweet. Thank you. Wow. Thank you. And every day I work towards getting to know myself a little bit more. And I now view my sensitivity as one of my superpowers. And I feel like I am as close as I've ever been to living an honest life. And I want to remind you, it doesn't mean that life is perfect, but it does mean I can now handle life head on, one step at a time. So, this is me. This is who I am, and like many of you, I'm on a constantly evolving journey with my mental health, and it's a journey that I certainly could not have walked alone, and I am grateful every day for the love and support of those closest to me who have been by my side every step of the way. And I know in this respect, I am very, very lucky. And One Young World, this is why we need to make mental health a priority, because for those without the safety net of a support network, the journey is longer, it is darker, and it is lonelier. We need to be brave and encourage people to talk about mental health. But that's only half the battle. If we're telling millions of young people across the planet that it's okay to reach out, to take the huge leap of faith that is asking for help, we need a society that is there to catch them. To finish, I want to speak directly to anyone in the audience or watching remotely who is currently struggling with their mental health. And I want to tell you this, it does get better. And I know it's hard to see the light in the darkest moments, but trust me, the light is there, and the light is in you. And the more you reach out, the more you find that inner strength, the greater that light will shine. And you all are anything but alone. You're all now a part of the amazing community of young leaders, a community that is leading the way in making mental health a global priority. So One Young World, let's all shine together. Thank you.